to continue what we were discussing before here, whatever we have, anyone, is not theirs. Okay? If it was ours, we would have taken it with us when we leave the body. If we cannot take anything with us when we leave this body, it is not ours. Plain and simple. It belongs to sansar. Right? We only get it for a short duration to enjoy it, whether it's sukh or dukh, whatever it is. Right? Somebody make a lot of money. Okay? The society put them up on the pedestal. Something happens, they lose everything. They go in the gutter and people hate them. It happens, right? So is it theirs? If it was there, they were protected. They will never lose it, right? All it is our karam phal. That's it. And Prakriti is administering it exactly like it should be. And it doesn't change one way or the other. Okay? So, it is okay to earn lot of money, nothing wrong with that. But understand, you will only earn what is due to you. Okay? Whatever we brought with us, according to our karam, that is the upper limit. We cannot go beyond that. And we will get that no matter what. Howsoever, you will get it. Because Devata will give it to you. But now once you get it, what is the right thing to do? Are you going to keep it just for your selfish use? The best thing is to making best use of this, whatever money or whatever you get, is to put it for the good of the society. That is the right thing to do. If you cannot do that, then all money you have, whatever you have, is useless. It's for nobody, it doesn't come to use for anybody. So, put it to good use for society, social welfare, but that doesn't mean that you just indiscriminately give it in. No, that's not it. You got to administer it properly so it gets the best use. You follow what I'm saying? If you just accumulate for your own selfish purpose, or your own bank account, whatever, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay right here. You may feel good. Oh, I have so much money. I have so much this stuff, that stuff. Look what I did. But when you close your eyes and leave the body, it all stays here. And those people who get it, they don't have value for it. They don't know how much hard work you did to get that. So they squander around. That money is all squandered around. So best thing to do is to put it to best use while you're still alive and do some good with it. If you cannot do that, then no point in reading Gita. That's what Gita says. The Gita doesn't say, don't do this. You will do what you're supposed to do. And you will get what you're going to get. But if it is more than what you need for your own subsistence, your lifestyle, then give it away to people, make best use of it. It doesn't mean give it to people on the street. Give it to people who need it and who you think are worthy of help. So that's what it is. Because what Bhagavan does, Bhagavan gives. Bhagavan doesn't take anything for himself. He just gives all the time. He's a giver. So Bhagavan has described the roop of the sansar. The chapter 15 is the Mahavakya of Gita. Mahavakya are the vakya or the sentences that describe the essence of the content of the creation. Tattva. Tattva means essence. And description of the four entities that are in it, in the creation, in samsara. So first Bhagavan described the physical nature of the samsara in this chapter and the prakriti. Now about the jeev, he's describing about the jeev. And after this he will tell you about Ishwar and Parameshwar. So in Mahavakya they describe everything first which is related to samsara, and what it is not is Ishwar. Okay? That's why he said, they are all in me, but I am not in them. Don't try to find me in samsara. I am not in samsara. So he tells about samsara, and then he will say, what is not samsara, that's what I am. Okay? So Bhagavan has described the roop of the samsara and how all prani bhut are tangled in it. Right? We read that. And by using the weapon called asang, we can cut a path through the jungle of branches of this upside down tree called samsara. Right? What are the attributes of the one who can cut a path for himself to get out of this tree? This we must do ourselves. Nobody is going to do for us. Don't be under any illusion that some power from somewhere will come and cut path through you and you go out of here. No. You have to do it yourself. Then Bhagavan described the state which is attained by the one who can do this. I'd like to discuss a little bit about using the weapon asang. Simply put, asang is negative of sang. Asang is negative of sang. Or to get attached. Sang is to get attached. Asang is to detach yourself. You are already attached. Now how do you get out of that attachment and detach yourself from anything? Now, how is it that we get attached? First of all, we have to know how it is that we get attached in order to find out how to get detached. When we encounter a situation or we come across something, immediately our senses start to interact and convey the information to our brain, which is powered by the mind, by our mind or man, which is an unseen entity. Man you cannot see. Brain you can see, but man you cannot see. So all the brain work going on, sensory perception and everything is all from unseen powers working behind it. The mind consists of what is called dvand. Which keeps the mind in turmoil. Dvand means something which keeps the mind in turmoil, always. Mind is always thinking something all the time. Okay? Whether you are awake or you are asleep, mind is always thinking. When you are awake, you think about what you see and what you interact with, right? When you go to sleep, it's called avachetan man. Subconscious mind start to work. And then you can go anywhere. There is no limit. There is no boundaries which mind has at that time. That avachetan man has no boundaries. You are asleep, you are in India. Or you go to Europe. You go here, everywhere you go. Right? You have all kind of experiences in sleep. Right? So there is no limit where the mind can go. So, but always, mind is always thinking about something or the other. Now, how does the person's mind think? Depend on the gunas which are in with him. Prakriti guna. Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun. So, person who has Satogun, mainly Satogun man, his thought process will be Satoguni. Okay? But he is always thinking. Rajogun will always think about Rajogun thoughts. And Tamogun, of course, will bring about all the thoughts which are Tamogun thoughts. But then again, there is always Dvand in there, which keeps the mind in turmoil as to how to react to this sense experience. You experience something with your eyes or ears or whatever, all the senses. Now the question comes, how to react to it? Mind will start thinking, well, I saw this. What does this mean? What can I do with this, right? Mind will always go on in that, on and on and on. As in William Shakespeare's Hamlet, to be or not to be, that is the question. The mind must decide what to do. Mind has to decide what to do. Because there are so many choices, there's dvand. So mind has got to decide. At this stage, the intellect or the buddhi decides what is to be done. Okay? Buddhi comes in and says, no, this is the right thing for you to do. That's intellect, right? If somebody has sadbuddhi or satoguni buddhi, that buddhi will instruct the mind to choose this satoguni thing. Or I stay away from this tamogun. Now, if we have the jnana, the buddhi will make the correct decision. Okay? If we have anybody who has jnana, that buddhi will make the correct decision. For who? For his atma. Right? Because jnana is always for atma, betterment of atma. And also with which not to interact. Buddhi will say, do this, don't do that. Both things buddhi tells you then. This is what we call asang. If we, meaning our mind, when we say I or we, that means our mind, our man. Nothing, not the body. It's the mind. If we interact with our mind, interacts with the sense experience, it will either like it or dislike it. These two things will happen. When the mind interacts with the sense perception, mind will say, I like it or I don't like it. That's the dvand, see? That's the duality. And that will depend on the sanskar, past experiences of the mind. They don't go away. Whatever you think, it stays there. It doesn't erase. That hard drive has got a lot of storage. Okay? Even cloud, big cloud also there. So it doesn't go away. So be careful what you think about things. Because it's going to stick around and come back to haunt you sometime. Either way, this causes bondage. We need the power of Gyan, the Gyan Shakti, which is the Vidya of Parameshwar. Okay? Now, what is Vidya of Parameshwar? Vidya is not knowledge. Vidya is Vidya. Means it is the power. is the power. Like Gyan, Gyan Shakti. Gyan Shakti, Gyan is the Vidya of Parmeshwar, Paramatma. Every Devta had their own Vidya too. Every Devta had their Vidya. Human beings have no Vidya. They are avidyatma, okay, full of avidya. So, the Gyan is Ishwar's Vidya, means that is how, once you have Gyan, you will operate that the way Ishwar wants you to operate. Understand that way. Without it, we will be unable to use the weapon called Asang. Who told us in Gita about Asang Shastra? Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Right? He knows how to use it. He never got attached to anything, anybody, when he was in, right? Even Mahabharata, never got attached to anything. He did his duty. He came to do certain things. He did his duty, but still remained unattached. So, to use the Asang Shastra, we have to have Gyan. Gyan will do that for us. Because Gyan will teach us what is right, what is wrong, what is correct, what is incorrect, what are we, what are others, everything. Gyan will tell you. Now Bhagavan is telling Arjun about Jeev here. Bhagavan says,
Mamaivamsho jivaloke जीवभूतः सनातनः मनश्शष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति.
The meaning of this shlok, when done based on Vedant, does not work. Its explanation is, the eternal Jivatma in the body, human body, is a fragment of my own being. Okay, that's what Vedanta philosophy will say. Is a fragment or part of my own being. And it is that alone which draws around itself in the mind and in the five senses, dwells in the mind and the five senses. What dwells is my own anshan, my own part of me, dwells in the mind and senses everywhere, which abide in the Prakriti. They are all in the Prakriti. Now, the mind, when you talk about man and senses, indriya, they are part of the Prakriti. Okay? We have been given to us. They have been given to us from the Prakriti. By Maya gave us that. So we can function. Without that, no function. Function will not happen. So this explanation is problematic, since here the Ishwar Sarup becomes fragmented into Jivatma. Put plainly, gets fragmented into Jivatma, which does not happen. The Ishwar Sarup, and for that matter even the Jeev Sarup, cannot be divided. In chapter 2, Shlok 24, Bhagavan said, Achedyoyam, Abhedyoyam. Okay. So, Nitya Sarvgata is third. What he's saying here is, talking about the Atma, Bhagavan says that Atma is incapable of being cut. Achedyoham, cannot be cut. You cut only things that you can see. Right? Don't even see Atma, what Atma is. It is fireproof, it cannot be burned. Right? Impervious to water, and is undryable. It cannot be dried. If they are impervious to water, it cannot drying doesn't make any sense there, right? Atma is eternal, Shashwat, eternal, omnipresent, immovable, constant. See, Atma never changes. We say we have Atma in our body, right? Jivatma. That never changes. It's the body which is changing. Outside garb, where the Atma is changing, not the Atma. Atma stays same. Atma is eternal, omnipresent, immovable, constant, and everlasting. It never ends. There is no Adi, no Ant. There is no beginning and no end for the Atma. In other words, the Atma cannot be divided. This being true for the Atma, how can there be fragmentation of Paramatma? No way. Because Atma and Paramatma in that respect are the same. So, Sri Bhagavan says, Mamai Vansho, Mam Ev, verily my Ansh, my part, Jeev Loke, in Manushya Lok, Jeev Bhuta, made into Jeev. My part got made into Jeev. Sanatana has always been there, eternal. And then he says, Mana Shashtani Indriyani, with 5 senses and the 6th, which is the Man, Prakriti Sthana, which abide in Prakriti. All these abide in the Prakriti. Their home is in Prakriti. Karshati attracts or takes along. So here Bhagavan, the manifested Paramatma, Bhagavan, when we say Bhagavan, that is manifested Paramatma, like Bhagavan Sri Krishna, is saying that in the Jeev Lok or Manushya Lok, Jeev Lok, verily my Ansh, which is eternal, was made into Jeev, which attracts or takes along the 5 senses and this Man, which is the 6th entity, whose abode is in the Prakriti. Now the question is that how is Jeev an Ansh of Paramatma? Okay? How it is that Jeev is Ansh of Paramatma? It is like in the fruit market. You go to fruit market, there are several piles of mango fruits, right? Although each pile represents a different variety of mango, together they are all mangoes. They are all one kind, right? Mango. But they are different varieties, langda or whatever. Likewise, there is orange, tangerine, grapefruit, etc. But they all are called citrus fruits, right? Similarly, Jeev is an Ansh of Parmeshwar. Same way. Jeev is Keval. Keval means alone. There is nothing with the Jeev. He is alone. Ishwar is also same way, alone. So is Paramatma. Therefore, even though both are separate, both have similar qualities. Same qualities. Ishwar is Keval, Jeev is Keval. So Jeev is Ansh of Paramatma. Same thing, right? It's not different. In that respect, it's same. So as we saw in the case of mango and citrus, although Jeev and Paramatma are separate, they are very similar. Okay? And that is why creation came about. Ishwar saw that this Jeev is Keval, Nirgun. Okay? He's pure. So but he doesn't have his own anand or bliss. He doesn't have any feeling, nothing. So by the grace of Ishwar, that compelled Ishwar to give Jeev powers with which it can enjoy, can have its own joy. Okay. Every devta has their own joy. Ishwar has his own joy. It's only poor Jeev doesn't have anything. It's like a jello, You've seen jello? Jello, whatever you form, you give it, it becomes that. It has no form of its own. That's how Jeev is. Put into human body, it becomes like human. Put into frog, it becomes like frog. Right? It had nothing of its own. Who's putting in the human body? Who's putting in the frog? Who's putting in ant? This is Devta putting him in there for phal, to administer the fruit of the action. So Jeev by itself has nothing. If it has something, it would not be dependent on all these things. Just think about it. But there are similarities between Jeev and Ishwar. Both are Keval. Both are Nirgun. Okay? So, this is what Bhagavan Krishna is saying. My ansh. There's another way to look at this thing. We'll go to a little later on. Besides being Keval, both are changeless, Nitya, omnipresent. Both are omnipresent, immovable, constant and everlasting. Jeev is separate from Paramatma due to the avidya. The only difference there is, Jeev has avidya with him, ignorance, no jnana. And that avidya, the purpose of the creation was to bring about the separation of avidya from the Jeev Sarup. Okay? That is the purpose. Take the avidya out, ignorance out of Jeev, Jeev becomes like Ishwar. Because otherwise they are similar to Ishwar. Once the avidya is separated from Jeev, the Jeev will become like the Paramatma. He won't be Paramatma, but will be like Paramatma. Because here you see Ansh. He won't be same, but he will be like Paramatma. Then the Jeev merges into Paramatma because both are like and they can merge. However, even after merging with Paramatma, Jeev remains separate from the Paramatma. It doesn't become Paramatma because there is only one Paramatma. Think about it. Only one Paramatma. Cannot be 2 or 3 or millions Paramatma, right? So every Jeev become Paramatma, then you have all kind of Paramatmas in there. But Paramatma is only one. So he goes and merges with Paramatma, Ishwar Sarup, and has the joy of Paramatma. And that's it. Eternally he stays there. It doesn't become Paramatma. This is how Dvait differs from Advait. Now there is another thing about Jeev. Jeev was without pleasure or pain. Originally Jeev, like jello I said, cannot experience anything, right? Put wherever you want to do, it does it. Had no faculties to experience pleasure or pain. And without pleasure or pain, had no life. Jivatva, called Jivatva, Jeevpana. To become Jeev, to be alive. Could not experience. When you are alive, that's the only time you can experience things, right? But Jeev had no faculties, so could not experience anything originally in very beginning. And without life, it could not perform karma, which will bring about the separation of avidya. to, now go back, there is a vidya attached to Jeev, right? And that is what differentiates him from Paramatma. Right? Paramatma has no vidya. He has his own vidya, right? So the purpose of the creation was to take the avidya away, separate avidya from Jeev. But to do that, Jeev has to have some faculties to act. It's not like magic that somebody shall come take the avidya away. No. Jeev has to work. And to do the work has got to have those faculties with him. And that's what life of Jeev came about. To give life to Jeev, the five senses and the man were given to the Jeev. Okay? In the very beginning, first creation, whenever it was. So Jeev was given five senses, power of senses and mind, man. And those same senses and same man is still with the Jeev and will remain till he is free from avidya. Okay? They don't change. That's why I said the mind has a big hard drive. Whatever you have done from the very beginning is still registered in the mind. It doesn't go away. These are situated in the Prakriti. All these things are situated in Prakriti. Jeev is also in the Prakriti because the Sharir is Prakriti and the Prakriti. With these, Jeev can see, feel, experience pleasure and pain now. Now the thing which we call death is, which everybody is afraid of, is Jeev leaving the body along with the five senses and the man. They leave with the Jeev. These together with other bodies which Jeev has taken during first creation, they are called Linga Deha. Okay? The Ling Deha was given to Jeev at the very first creation. This always remains attached to Jeev as Jeevs move from body to another body. It is there with it. It is due to the Ling Deha that Jeev is called Jeev. Without that, Jeev has no life. You cannot call him Jeev. Right? These are Jeev's own Shakti, their own Jeev's power given to him to perform some action, to do something in sansar. He was sent in sansar with all these powers, which are his own power given till he is separated from avidya. They will stay with him. And with these, he has to perform action. These are Jeev's own Shakti given by Devta. Devta were instructed to give these Shakti by Maya to Jeev. So Jeev can become alive. Since the Shakti to experience Prakriti are given by Devta, the experience that Jeev gets are based on Devta Shakti. Understand? These powers, senses and mind is given by Devta. But Devta can only give what Devta has. Right? So whatever Devta gives and whatever we experience based on those Devta Shakti, they are all based on Devta Shakti. They cannot go beyond that Devta. That's why mind also has a limit. Cannot go just beyond to Ishwar. Mind, you cannot think about, that's why you cannot think about Ishwar. Ishwar is unthinkable. You cannot see Ishwar with your eyes because eyes cannot see. They don't go. That's why even to show just the Vishwarup, not Ishwar Sarup, Vishwarup to Arjun, Bhagavan Krishna has to give him divine sight, Divya Chakshu. Otherwise he could not see. Okay, you understand now? So whatever we have, the powers of our senses, they only go a certain distance. That's it. They cannot see everything. We cannot hear what Bhagavan is saying. We cannot think about what Ishwar is. We cannot go there on our own. We need his Gyan Shakti to carry us forward on the path to Ishwar. And that is what Asanga Shastra will do. That is what Bhagavan said. Cut a path through this sansar using the Asanga Shastra. That's the only thing you have to cut through this sansar and make a path for yourself. Nobody else is going to make for you. You have to make your own path. Why? Because everybody's karma are different. And what we read in the tree of sansar, those branches are our karma. And we are tangled up into our own karma branches. And those are the ones we have to cut through, not other people's karma. So to cut our own karma, cut through our own karma, jungle of karma, we have to do it ourselves. Everybody is doing their own if they want to go through there. I cannot do for somebody else. Nobody else can do for me. I have to go through my own karma, cut them down. That is, karma bandhan has got to be cut off. How you do that? Asang. When you do the karma, you say, I want to do this, right? And you end up doing something with the powers given to you by Devatas. But you have to undo this whole thing. Like you tie a knot. Very simple example. You tie a knot, whatever knot you tie, right? To tie something. Now to untie, you have to do the reverse. Correct? And then only then you can free that thing. Like you tie your shoes. Now you want to take off your shoes, you have to untie the knot and then laces and then shoe will come off. That is asana. That is how you have to do asana. Whatever we have done, we have to undo it. Serious thing. It's not simple. How do you undo something which you have done? Anybody got any answer? This tying the knot was simple. Did some karma. Like, for example, very simple example. I say something bad to somebody, offend somebody. Right? What kind of karma is that? Tamagun, right? How do I undo it? I have to go to that person and ask for his forgiveness. Okay? But if I think I am great, he was wrong, I never go there, you're never going to get rid of that karma. Very simple thing. So even after getting forgiveness from the person, the karma has been already done. So it's like putting your hand in mud and you decide, you all of a sudden figure, oh, this is going to make my hand dirty. You take it out and wash it off. But the fact still remains that you put your hand in mud. That doesn't get erased. Right? So you did asang, but true asang is with the Gyan Shakti, where that is also erased. That karma never happened. We call it katinatva. Okay? The word is katinatva. That's like if you have a cut and it heals, but a scar still remains. Correct? Same way this karma, you did some karma, we did something, and then we went there and tried to undo it the best we can. That too, you take Paramatma's name and go with his name to get the forgiveness. Maybe the person will forgive them and forget. But the fact still remains that the scar is still there. Other person's heart got scarred. That where Gyan Shakti comes in there. And slowly towards the end, it all is there. It's not going to go away. But at the end, when you have been, Paramatma takes you with him, everything is cleaned up and become pure, shining Jeev. Okay, all the dirt and filth that Jeev we have collected on ourselves, it's not in our pocket or somewhere. It is on ourselves, our being. Okay, it affects us. Just like the example is putting your hand in the mud, it makes the hand dirty. Same thing, our Jeev Sarup, our own Atma, has been accumulated. We have been accumulating so much dirt on it, layers and layers and layers of it. It has to be washed away. And that can only be done with Asanga Shastra. That is the tool we have to use. Hose cannot wash it. Water cannot wash it. And Asang comes truly with Gyan of Ishwar. Nobody else can do that. So the power of Man comes from Brahma. And the power of the Chit, okay. Chit is, what is Chit? Chit is a faculty where thought come one after the other. You think about something, and that leads you to something else. Then that leads to something else. And that will lead to something else, right? Mind will keep on going on and on and on. And that is Chit. If the Chit goes away, you're dead. Okay? Always thinking. And that's like on the ocean, the waves on the ocean, one after the other, they come. Ocean is the same, but the waves are coming. One big wave comes, some small wave comes, Same thing, the Chit brings thought process separately, on and on. These are all called Para-Prakriti. In our eyes, the eyesight is, behind that eyesight, there is the power of sun. To see something, you have to have light, right? Without light, you cannot see. Where did the light come from? Sun. Agni is also a roop of sun. Surya Devta, Agni Devta. Right? So, electricity is also Agni. Correct? That's why it catches fire. Right? So, this is all Para-Prakriti, constantly generates Shakti. It's constantly generating power and supplying to us to do certain things. Like if I raise my hand, there's a power behind that, right? Which is coming from some Devta giving me that power. And that power being generated in the Para-Prakriti all the time, constantly. It's the huge generator of power. We take it for granted, right? That we can see, we can hear. We take all these faculties for granted, don't we? The actions of the senses we take for granted. We don't even think about it. What is this? Until we lose eyesight, then we know the value of the eyesight. Human beings, that's the nature. We don't put value to something unless we lose it. Everything we take it for granted. Right? We have our parents, we take them for granted. Right? Everybody, friends, we take them for granted. Yeah, they are there. They'll be there tomorrow also. But where they come from, where all these power come from, all senses sense objects, Vishay, and Man are the creation of Maya. Maya created all these things, made all these things to give to Jeev, so the things will work on. Jeev become Jeev. It is the Maya which gives these powers to Jeev, so that Jeev could become Jeev. Maya, the primordial power of Ishwar, is so huge. Can you think about Maya, how big Maya is? Huh? No, it's Brahm. It's Brahm. Brahm means it's everywhere. Has pervaded everything. Maya does the creation, the dissolution. It does it all. Everything Maya does. In mountains, rivers, Maya has there also, is there. Different phases of Maya. These are called Jad. Whatever Maya there is in the rivers and streams and mountains and on these bricks and walls and everything, that's all Jad Maya. It's Maya there, this holding it together. The Jad Maya. The power of Jad Maya is doing it. Then there is Ajad Maya, which is not Jad. And there is Chitjal Maya, which is Chetan, means conscious, but is still also Jal, both. The Jal is the building block of the bodies and everything in the sansar. In the senses, it is the Ajal Maya. It's also is the fragrance in the flowers. That's from Ajal Maya. It's Maya Shakti there working. And the light, the tej, and the fire is all Ajal Maya. The Chitjal is the roop of Maya where there is joy. Chitjal is Maya's own saroop, own being. And that is where Maya's Anand is there. The joy which Maya has, it is there. So somebody gets to Maya with his karma, he enjoys that joy. We can't even think about that. Bhagavan is saying that inside the Jeev, my powers are working. When Paramatma is saying that Jeev is my Ansh, he is saying that like him, Jeev is also Nirgun, meaning immaculate. Nirgun means immaculate. On the other hand, the Maya is Trigunatmak. So are all Devatas. Nirgun and Trigun. Big difference. Now, these similarities between Jeev and Ishwar were there before the Jeev was given Man and senses. Understand? Following? They were there before Jeev was given by Maya, Man and senses to become alive. And all the Mal of Devata, all Devatas, Mal was given to. The Mal, Jeev did that, put on the different coverings of different Devata on his own. That is when Jeev was Ansh of Paramatma. That is where he was Ansh. Which for Ishwar, which becomes Jeev Bhoot, became Jeev Bhoot. He became Jeev then. Before he was not alive, now he became alive. Now that Ansh has become Trigunatmak because it has got all the powers of Devatas and all the Avarana or all the coverings of different Devata on him, which are all Trigunatmak. So now he becomes Trigunatmak. He's not Nirgun anymore. Basically he's Nirgun, but not outwardly he's not Nirgun. Now Jeev in the body with all Devata Shakti can get Gyan and perform Ishwar Bhakti. Okay, once he has all this, he goes into human body And the idea is to do Ishwar Bhakti so you can get out of the Asang Shastra. You can use the Asang Shastra, cut out everything and move on. However, without Gyan, Jeev gets tangled in the sansar, the upside down tree. Unless the Gyan, he cannot do anything. When the Jeev will get the Ishwar Gyan and become worthy of being one with Ishwar, all these Trigunatmak garb will be shed. They all shed off, gone. And Jeev becomes pure. This is what the purpose of creation was. Regarding the karma, we need to pay attention to what Bhagavan said in chapter 3. Shlok 5. Bhagavan said, Nahit kashyati kshanamapi jatu tishtasta karma krat. Karyate hyavasha karma sarva prakrite jair guna. He says, undoubtedly, at any time, even for a moment, no one, meaning human being, can remain, tisthati means can remain akarmakrat, without doing any action. Not for a moment. Always action will take on. Why? Because my mind is always working. And how does the karma start? Manasa. Start with mind, with thought. Vacha, it becomes vacha. Karmana, then becomes physical. Prarabdha. Because all are helpless. And it's happening, we are all helpless. We're going to have to do it all the time. And are driven to do the karma. We are not only helpless, we are driven. By what? By the three gunas. Three gunas drive us to do karma all the time. Okay? Whether satogun, whether rajogun or tamogun, they will always want you to do something. They are driving us to do that. The mode has been defined as a manner of doing something. Mode of action, right? Prakriti, what is Prakriti? These three gunas are the mode of Prakriti. Okay? In English we will call mode of Prakriti. So mode is defined as a manner of doing something. So what Prakriti does in this manner, using the three gunas. That is how Prakriti operates. So once the creation begins, the activities continue ceaselessly until the dissolution happens. And all creatures are always being driven to do something. Those in the yoni below and above humans cannot do karma. They simply remain in the bhog of their past karma. Become devta, they enjoy, they cannot do any karma, cannot go anywhere from there. Lower yoni, animals, whatever, they are there for the duration, they cannot do any karma. Only human beings are the one who can do the karma. Why? Because the mind is active, totally developed mind. Even any human being whose mind is not totally developed cannot do the karma. Okay? So, whereas humans are driven to do karma, which results in its fruits. Now the question is, how does karma happen? The word for karma is krat. In Sanskrit it's called krat. Or that what has been done. Krat. It is the krati of something, right? When karma is done in the correct way, as done by yogis, it is called sukrat. Means punya. Su. And when not, it is called dushkrat or pap. Now, when one does karma in yoga with Ishwar, He is called Karma Krit. Karma Krit. Kratatma. We'll call him Kratatma. That Atma is Kratatma. He's doing karma. He has the knowledge of Atma. Those who do not all call Akratatma. They don't have the knowledge of Atma. So what they are? Akratatma. In the human body, when Jivatma performs karma in yoga with Ishwar, it does not cause bondage. There is no bondage in it. Because Ishwar is not bonded by anything. So using Jnana of Ishwar, whatever we do, there will be no bondage. The essence of this shlok is that Maya, with whose association Ishwar is Parameshwar, Ishwar in association with Maya becomes Parameshwar, does divide herself. Who divides herself? Is the Maya that divides herself, not Ishwar. And makes this part like that true copy of each Jeev. Okay, now you have to follow this here. It's kind of alien to a lot of you. Parameshwar is Ishwar with Maya. Now how does Parameshwar, he has given the order to Maya creation and this is what I want to do. And that's it. So what Maya does, Maya divides herself into so many parts. Ekoham bahusyami. Became innumerable part. Every Jeev has got part of Maya associated, attached to Jeev. And that is exactly true copy of that Jeev. Cannot differentiate. It's like in a diya, in a lamp, when you make the bati, you put two together, twist them, has only one flame, but there are two batis in there, twisted together. Same way, Jeev and Maya, Ansh, is attached together. And they always stay there. This is what Bhagavan said, Mame Vansho Jeev Loke Jeev Bhuta Sanatana. Parmeshwar's Ansh means that Maya's Ansh became Jeev Bhut. And that was Sanatan Ansh, eternal. And that come together with Jeev. And that is the Ansh that Bhagavan Krishna is talking about. That Ansh, verily my Ansh, which is eternal, was made into Jeev. See, that was Maya's Ansh, made into Jeev, Jeeva Bhuta, which attracts or takes along the five senses and the Man, entity Man. So is that Maya's Ansh, which is with the Jeev, is doing all the work. Jeev cannot do anything. Okay? And that is what takes away Man and senses leaving this body. It goes with it. And Jeev goes along with it. It's part of it. So, this Ansh, which is just like Jeev, is called Sanlagna. Is together in such a way that he cannot differentiate. Is which attracts or takes along the five senses and the sixth entity called Man, whose abode is in the Prakriti. So it takes from the Prakriti, goes into a body, stays there, does the work, all the karma, and then leaves with it and goes back into the Prakriti. Okay? So these are unseen powers. You cannot see them. This will become clear in the next shlok. So now we take the next shlok.
Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati gृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात्.
At this point, let's look at Shlok 22 in chapter 2. Here Bhagavan has compared Jivatma, cast off, the worn out. He has made a comparison, metaphor, that Jivatma casts off his worn out body and enters into another body, which are new, to a human casting of worn out clothes. Just compare them together, right? And puts on the others which are new. We wear clothes for so many days, years, and then become wore out of fashion or wear out. We throw them away. We put on new clothes. Same way the Atma takes on a body, and when the body wears out, is of no use to that Atma, it leaves the body. And when it becomes no use to Atma, when that karma phal is complete, it has no use for that body. So body leaves. There is nothing to cry about it, nothing to be sad about it. Body comes, body goes. It come out, go out, and go somewhere else. So that Prakriti, these man and senses going with it all the time. So it stays alive and goes into another body. That's simple. So the death is the beginning of life, of a new life. Okay? When it is said that Jivatma cast off the worn out body, it means that the karma phal for that body has completed. So Jivatma leaves it to go into next phal. In this shlok, Bhagavan has given a metaphor to describe Jivatma leaving the worn out body. Bhagavan says, as wind passing over a place of scent. It could be, or odor, could be rotting thing, like water accumulate in mud, after a while it start to give odor, right? Or there is a beautiful flower in that mud also growing, kamal, lotus flower. It gives scent out, sweet scent. So when the wind passes over, it picks up both, right? It doesn't differentiate whether I'm going to pick up the good scent or a bad odor. What wind picks it up. So it takes these from the seat, like the flower or a rotting object. That is the seat of that odor or the smell or the fragrance. So it takes from there. So does when Jivatma, which is the Ishwar of the body. Jivatma is Ishwar of the body, controller of the body. Body is for him, for the Jivatma. Leaves the body, the man and senses leave with it and enter the new body. Just like the wind takes away the odor and scent, same way Jivatma takes away the five senses and the man and moves on. So what does leave? The physical seat of the senses like eyes, ears, nose and all that, do they leave? No. They stay back. They are made out of seven dhatu. They're made of, what is dhatu? Mans, majja, all that stuff, dhatu. Body is made of dhatu, seven dhatu. So they are made of dhatu, of prapanch. These stay behind with the body. It is the Devata, Shakti, powering the senses which leave with Jivatma. And what takes them away? It is the Sanlagna, the Ansh of Maya, which takes these from the old body to the new one. and they go along with it. When we say Jivatma, it means Jeev with its Atma. Okay? Jeev Atma. Jeev with its Atma. And which is Atma, Jeev's Atma is Sanlagna. That part of Maya which is with Jeev, that is Atma. Because by definition, Atma is some entity which makes you move forward. Atati. That's what Atma means. Atma doesn't mean anything. Atma is something which makes you move forward. And what Sanlagna is doing? When one phal is over, takes away to the next one. So Jivatma, remember, Jivatma means Jeev with power of Maya with it. Like the wind, all these Shakti, including Jivatma, are invisible. Just like you cannot see wind, you cannot see Jivatma, you cannot see Maya powers, you cannot see anything. They are invisible. In the next slok, Bhagavan tells how and what is experienced by the embodied Jeev. Remember that Jivatma possesses the Man and the Indriya. So what is the experience in the next slok?
Shrotram chakshusparshanam cha rasanam ghranameva cha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate.
Shotram, the sense of hearing. It's not hearing, it's the sense of hearing. Chakshu, the organ of sight. Sparshanam, the organ of touch, or which is the skin. Rasanam, the organ of taste. Ghrana, the organ of smell. All these organs dwell in their objects, which means Vishay. Right? Because I dwells in Swarup or Kurup. I is always looking out for Roop. Because I is got the power of sun, Surya. And Surya gives the Roop. So, and these Vishay are Shabd. For sense of hearing, it is Shabd, which are sound, Roop, touch, taste, and smell. So those five senses dwell in these. Eye doesn't hear anything, does it? They dwell in their own Vishay all the time. So when we have these powers come into new body, eye will dwell into Roop. Ear will dwell into Vishay, which is Shabd, hearing. Right? Rasana will only thing Rasana does is give you taste. Smell, Ghrana, smell, nose will smell. Nose cannot talk. They do their own thing, they dwell in their own Vishay. When we get those in our body, they all dwell in their own Vishay. Vishay means object of the senses. It happens naturally by the Devata Shakti in each of the senses. You follow me? The Devata Shakti in Sparsh will dwell into the Sparsh Vishay, and we can sense whether it's smooth or coarse or whatever, naram or whatever it is, right? And the eye will, the Shakti of sun, Shakti of the eye will dwell into Roop. From that we can see things and we can say, well, this is good looking, this is bad looking. Man does all these things. But they are happening automatically. We don't have to do anything, they are happening. And the Jivatma experiences all this through the mind. They all are sending signals to the mind, to the man. Well, this thing is not very good looking, I need improvement. Going to the mind all the time. And the mind is always actively thinking, which is called manan. Thinking by the mind is called manan. And according to its sanskar, whatever the sanskar man has, which we have earned through our karma, made our sanskar. You understand sanskar? According to sanskar, man will interpret, man will act. Man will perceive these signals coming from the indriya, which are dwelling into their vishay, and man will decide based on its sanskar. That's why if sanskar is great, man will say, don't get into this. Okay. Asang, man will say, do asang, don't get into this. If something comes into Ishwar, bhakti part, man will go after that. You see? That is what sanskar is. Sanskrit man is called Sanskrit man. Cultured. That's what called Sanskriti. So, the experiences are expressed to Jivatma by man. All Devta Shakti are taken from the Prakriti. Prakriti is supplying this. Prakriti means Maya. Supplying all these Devta Shakti all the time, constantly. So, sense with the Shakti of Devta get their objects, and the mind senses those experiences, and the Jeev enjoys these experiences. You follow me now? Senses are giving the signals to the mind. Mind is deciding based on its sanskar, and the enjoyment of that, whether it's pain or whatever, so-called dukh, Jivatma is experiencing it because it's completely attached in unison. Now, the next shlok we take.
उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढा नानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः.
There are three states of Jeev in the body. These are Utkramantam, as Jeev is leaving the body. Utkramant, leaving the body. That's one state. Sthitam, Jivatma situated or dwelling in the body. And Bhunjanam, Jivatma experiencing the object of the senses, the experiences from the senses. The pleasure or suffering, either one. So these are the three states of Jivatma in the body. To get out of here, stay in the body, go to the next one, stay there, and then enjoy the fruit of the action through the sense objects. And sense is giving to man, and man is telling Jivatma. And he enjoy, either it's joy, pain, or pleasure, whatever it is. Gunanvitam. In this way, connected with the three gunas. Remember, everything is being controlled by three gunas here. So it's connected with three gunas. Even that, vimudha, the Atma, the deluded one, the Ajnani or deluded one, vimudha. There are four ways person become mood, right? So in one way, the mood means he has no jnana. Na anupashyati. They do not see or know him. Jnanu chakshusha pashyanti. Only the jnani with the sight of jnana sees and knows by tattva, by sense. This is the meaning of the words. Now what does this mean? Whole shlok means here. Bhagavan says that Jeev is pure. Jeev remains pure all the time, no matter what. Everything is on top of Jeev. It's not in the Jeev. It has not contaminated the Jeev. All Devta Shakti and everything, man, it's all outward, outside garb of Jeev. So Jeev remains pure in all cases, all the time. And has no Vishay. Jeev has no Vishay. Because there is no power. There is no Vishay. Within Jeev there is no Vishay. And the same is in all the beings. Every being is same way. Because there is same Jeev everywhere. All that what is visible are the Vishay attached outside the Jeev. You follow? Vishay means object of the senses. Sense of touch, sense of looks, whatever. It's all attached outside the Jeev, not inside the Jeev. Jeev is pure. It remains pure all the time. These are the Shakti which Jeev, through which the Vishay are attached. Okay, the Shakti of sun, all the Shakti, Indriya Shakti, they take the Vishay and perceive what the Vishay is, give it to man. It's all outwardly. It's not nothing going on inside the Jeev. That's what I'm trying to say here. Jeev remains totally pure all the time. Cannot be content. Ached deoham, abhed deoham. No, you cannot do anything to Jeev. So everything is outwards, not inside the Jeev. So Jeev always remains the same. So these Shakti, which are there like the Shakti of sun in the eyes, nose and all these act as receptors. You follow now? Whatever is happening, and our receptors take that in. Understand now? These Shakti, Rasna, Gran, all these Shakti, Devta Shakti, they act as receptors in us. And whatever is happening outside, Indriya is perceiving, and the receptors are picking it up. Otherwise, Jeev cannot get it. Man cannot get it. So these are all receptors. So let's take the example of taste. In something, there is a taste. Everything has got taste, don't it? Now there is a Shakti with Jeev, through which the Jeev experiences the taste of that item. You got a mango, you cut it open, and you put it in your mouth. The Rasana Shakti, that Devta Shakti, is receiving that, is a receptor of that taste, of that fruit. Okay? So you are experiencing because of that Devta Shakti. If the Devta Shakti is not there, you will never taste anything. Okay? If there is no Shakti of sun or Surya in your eyes, no matter how many eyes you transplant, the eye will not be able to see. Because what is seeing is not the eye, is the Shakti of Devta which is looking and seeing and perceiving. It becomes a receptor and transmitting it to man. Okay? So there is no relationship between the Vishay and Jeev. Vishay is outside, outwardly. It's not in the Jeev. There is no relationship between Jeev and the Vishay. Everything which we see is on the outside and is the effect of the three gunas and senses and their Vishay. Okay? Whatever we see, we feel, we perceive, whatever, it's all outside. It's not within Jeev. And it's all working through gunas in the Prakriti. And it's all outward garb. not the Jivatma. Okay, it's outside. Like you put on a clothes, right? Outside garb, that's what it is. Those who have Gyan, they have the Gyan Chakshu. They see through that Gyan Chakshu. That is what's going on. What is Gyan? Gyan says that Jeev is separate and this is all going on the outside. And this Devta is doing this Shakti is doing this. That's why because of the Gyan, you know. So that's called Gyan Chakshu. The sight of Gyan. You see through Gyan. You don't see with your eyes. You see through Gyan. Gyan Shakti. Ishwar gives us that Shakti through which we can see, like an approach, can see all Devatas everywhere. Right? You can see Jeev everywhere. So, those who have Gyan, they have the Gyan Chakshu. Their sight has the power of Gyan with which they can see the Jivatma. Since the Jeev is pure and same in all beings, you know, Jeev in me is same as in him or him, everybody, same, Jeev is same. And what we learned today, the differences are the outward garb on the Jeev. Right? Through the Devta Shakti, they are expressing those outward. Somebody looks different, somebody is short, somebody, whatever it is. But the Jeev within every one of us, every creature is the same. Pure. It's the outward garb which is changing all the time. You follow what I'm saying? And who is doing this? Three gunas are driving and Devatas are doing all this, expressing everything, have the receptors, and Prakritis, they pick up everything from there. And that's what's going on. So with the Gyan Chakshu, you can see, you can perceive this is what's going on. That is how you practice asang. You don't get attached to this. Okay? Because you know this is all outside. It's not me, it's not my Jeev. Jeev is not involved in it. Jeev is just bystander, experiencing the things, what's going on outside. Two people fighting, right? It's not, the Jeev is not fighting. It's the karma and this devta, they are fighting together. So Gyan Chakshu, you see that way. And then he said, I'm going to be staying away from it. Asang, don't get involved into this. If you get involved, two people fighting, what happens? You become witness now. You're tied up now. There's something going on, just take your other way and leave. Take Bhagwan's name and go leave somewhere. This can only happen to one who is endued with Gyan. Now let us look at Gyan and Mood. We saw here Mood and Gyan. One who is Mood is the one who knows the Vishay Bhog. He has all the knowledge about Vishay Bhog. You go in a party, people talk about this, this whiskey is better, this is cheaper over there, this is over there. I went there, see this show, I saw this show, They know all the Vishay Bhog things. They are perfectly knowledgeable in Vishay Bhog. They are mood. Bhagavan Krishna say they are mood. One who knows the Vishay Bhog in the sansar and is always looking for pleasure in them and fun. Oh, I want to have fun, right? That big word, fun. They are always searching for pleasure in the Vishay Bhog of the senses. Mood is always pursuing and looking for pleasures in the Vishay Bhog of senses. These pleasures are pervaded by dukh or sorrow. They never end into sukh. People have whiskey, drink alcohol, they get high, or take drug, you get high. When that effect wears out, they got a headache. Okay? Dukh. They end up in dukh. All these Vishaya Bhog end up in dukh, no matter what. Those who are wise, they sit and contemplate about Atma. They don't get entangled into Vishaya Bhog. They want to use their time, precious time which is given to them as human being. They sit and contemplate about Atma. Who are we? What are we? What am I? What am I doing? They analyze, they contemplate about themselves. In Upanishad, Rishi Kanad said, pursue the jnana of Atma. Atma re dhyatavya. Try to know the Atma. You got a chance to be a human being in sansar, make use of it and pursue Atma. Rest all is useless. Only thing to pursue is sansar is Atma. The rest everything is, because we just saw today, everything is outward. It's not the Jeev, it's not the Atma. What we see is outside. And that does stay here, it sheds off. It doesn't give us any pleasure. It ends up in dukh. So Rishi Kanal says, Atma re dhyatavya. Just go after Gyan of Atma. Know the Atma. Only a handful people have any interest in the pursuit of Gyan of Atma. Very few people do that. How many really are interested in Atma Gyan? You won't find one somewhere. That's Bhagavan Krishna said in the Gita. Manushyanam sahasreshu. हजारों में से उनमें उनके ले लो हजार उनमें से कोई एक rare person who wants to, has a burning desire to know Atma. A rare person. Most everybody end up being moved and run after this sense perception, sense gratification. So, but Vimud Nanu Pashyanti, Vimudha Nanu Pashyanti, they do not even look in this direction. The mood do not even look in the direction to get the knowledge of Atma. They are mood. They say, enjoy the sukh of the senses, sense object, sense bhog. In chapter 17, Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells that what mood calls sukh is rajogun. We'll go into chapter 17, then you will see. What mood calls sukh is rajogun, which later becomes the cause of dukh. Rajogun doesn't lead into any sukh. So, who are those with the Gyan Chakshu who look towards Atma? This is in the next sloka.
Yatanto yoginaschanam pasyantyatmanyavasthitam yatanto pyakritatmano nainam pashyantya chetasaha.
Yatanto, while making effort, striving for perfection, yogina, the yogi, those who know the union of Atma and Paramatma, they have the Gyan of Atma and Paramatma and the union of the two. They too, Pashyanti means see, behold, they know by Tattva. Enam, this Atma, which is avasasthitam, which is situated within Atmani, in themselves, in their heart. So while making effort, the yogi, the jnani, sees the Atma situated within their heart. Cha, but, or however, akartatma. akritatmana. Those who have not cleansed their antakaran. There is kratatma, akratatma. The kratatma is the one by his karma, he cleanses his antakaran. He get jnana. Akratatma has not cleansed his antakaran. What is antakaran? Man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. Mainly man. Man is not purified. Okay? What is pure man, by the way? Do you ever think about what is pure man? When man is pure, what is like? It's like a child's mind. A small child, you cannot hurt him by saying anything. You say something, he'll laugh. Right? So the child's mind is the pure mind. And later on, as we grow up, we totally dirty up our mind. Conditioning by thoughts and stuff like that. Swarth and stuff like that, hinsa. And mind becomes contaminated. So when the body leaves this mind leaves the body, everything's left behind. And the new body, you get human body. Some children are very, very tricky, very, very young age, right? We call them smart, right? But once those are we call bhola, it's very simple. That is a pure mind. That's by the way, anyway. So now, antakaran, who have not cleansed their antakaran, achetasa, such agyani, yatant api, even by making effort, na pashyanti enam, do not see the Atma. So whose antakaran is not pure, mind is not pure, even though they make the effort, they cannot see the Atma, they cannot get it. So key is to get antakaran purified. That comes with, what is the Astipari first one? Vikar vikalp shunya. Zero vikar, there is no vikar, there is no vikalp. That is purifying the mind, my state of mind. Okay? Na pashyan, they do not see Atma. Here, the key word is akratatma, meaning that their actions are not kratatma. They are not krat, means they are not correct actions. In Slok 7, we saw that kratatma is the one who performs karma in yoga with Ishwar. And its opposite is akratatma, those who do not have jnana, so their karma will not cleanse their antakaran. Okay? When you have jnana, you perform karma in accordance with the jnana, then the antakaran will become purified, because karma will not happen. And on the contrary, they will cast a stain on it. Who? Those who are akratatma. Therefore, they cannot see or know the Atma. So today's topic was about Jivatma. What is it? What happens to it? And what it does. And it is only the yogi who can know and see the Atma when he makes effort. It doesn't happen by itself. He has to make effort towards this seeing the Atma. So this was today's. The next thing will be, we will now be looking at, so having talked about the Sansar, Devta and Jivatma, next Bhagavan Sri Krishna talks about Ishwar. This we will take up next time in the new year. This will be a good start of the new year. To start to learn about what Bhagavan Krishna says about Ishwar. Hopefully, everybody will have all this knowledge and will study it. Find some time to sit down and study. These things in the world, all the work will happen by itself. I mean, it's not going to do us any good. I can only say, everybody has to do it on their own. Okay? कहते हैं ना, ये बाग डोर आपके हाथ में है. That's it. You have to make effort. Nothing happens in this world without making effort. Jai Shri Krishna.